over the past like 6 to 8 months or so, I've been able to scale my business from 10K a month to hitting consistent $35,000 months. And at some points, I've hit over 50K in a single month. My business has actually genuinely set me free, and I fucking love my life. So in this video, I want to talk about, the 7 lessons or the 7 core things that I learned building a freedom first business for myself, and hopefully it helps you along your journey. I currently live in Bangkok, Thailand right now. Last month I was in Bali. I spent my birthday in Phuket, Thailand, just like island hopping, hanging out with friends, having a good ass time. But the reason why I'm able to do those things and like step away from my business for weeks at a time is because my client delivery is solid, and I've built so many systems in my business to help my clients get results without me needing to be there. So many people think that if they just make enough money, they'll be free. But if you're new to my channel, my name is Jay. And before I was doing consulting work for coaches and consultants, I was running a 7-figure business in America, consulting for Boeing, Bank of America, PIMCO, Chase Bank, all over the place, right? I was doing tech consulting for them, and I was making a shit ton of money, right? Like, fuck you money, like for real. And I thought that money was what was actually going to make me feel free, but I was working 80-hour weeks. I was absolutely exhausted, and I had no life. I realized early on that if I wanted a business that was going to give me freedom, I would have to build it. I would have to create it or design it in such a way that was going to create freedom for me. Lesson number 1 is that more money doesn't equal more freedom. When you start scaling your business, you quickly realize that the work starts to add up and pile up, and there's more and more on your plate. Client delivery is a mess. The back end of your business is a mess. You're struggling to create content. There's all these complications, right? You don't have offers that are kind of plug and play, and your clients can get results without you being there with them. Then you're probably going to hate your business. Let's be real. Like, if you scaled it to where you really wanted to, and you had to support that level of clients, you either be losing profits because you have to pay someone to deliver results for you, or you'd be doing all the delivery on your own and struggling like hell. If you don't stabilize your business first, right, by creating systems, frameworks, processes for literally every single thing that you do on the back end of your business, and automate most of that stuff, like, you are not going to be free. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. It doesn't even matter if you hire a team, because then you'll have to manage the team, and it will be a lot of work for you regardless, right? So when I first started my business, I hired a team. I had all these things, and I thought that the team was going to free me up, but it actually made things worse, not better, because I didn't have the things in place that I needed. So the key takeaway here is that freedom is built from building the right infrastructure, building the right processes, and building the right systems in your business that actually free up your time and stop you from having to do all of this manual delivery work and content creation and all these other things that you're probably doing right now. Build something once and scale it forever. All right, lesson number 2. If your business isn't selling while you're asleep, then you don't have freedom. When I first started, I didn't realize how much strategy actually went behind the content creation process, and like, before you ever hit record, before you ever get on the camera, right? The thought process behind it, the foundational layers that most people don't even know. All the content that you create, you want to be building sales assets for your business that sell while you are asleep. I had a client join the program this morning earlier, and he found my content yesterday because he started liking some of my stuff on Instagram and ended up over to my YouTube just from looking at my highlights, most likely. And then I saw that he subscribed to my channel, then came back around, looked at my Instagram content, bounced back and forth, and then went to my offer doc, which I have an automation process on Instagram that just kind of sells my coaching program for me, like A to Z. Like, they literally see the entire offer, they see the full breakdown, they see the price, they're able to pay on the spot, and then they can apply to be in my program. I don't let everyone in, but I make everyone put an application in just so I can validate, like, you're a person I can help. You're the type of person that I want to actually be working with, because I don't allow everyone in the program. But he was able to do all of that on his own. And I literally just woke up to it. I woke up to money, bro. Like, this is the importance of building sales assets, because if you're not doing that, then how do you expect for your business to scale without you? Because that is truly the goal. In general, there are 3 schools of thought when it comes to content creation, right? There's the paid ads group, there's the people that that are just like, I'm all day going hard on organic content. And then there's the pool of people that are like hybrid. I run paid ads and I create organic content as well. Now, I am a part of the hybrid thought process of running paid ads and using organic content to kind of nurture the audience that you're building, right? Because if you have paid ads running and you already have organic content that's been created, then what you're actually building is an ecosystem where people are going to see you every single day, right? There were points in time where I didn't create content for like 2 months, and yet my business was still growing behind the scenes. And that was purely because I was running paid ads, but I already had sales assets on YouTube. I had people dropping onto my email list, downloading lead magnets, right? And getting consistently nurtured from my emails. And so I was still making money because all that stuff on the back end was already done, and it's all automated. Like the emails are automated. Everything is automated because I built systems to help me create a shit ton of content, a shit ton of emails, shit ton of everything that I needed ahead of time. And I took some space to really like perfect the delivery behind the scenes in my program. So I wanted to be able to take the space to do that. And, you know, my business scaled without me, truly, like without me even having to create content for a couple months. So the key point here is that like you want to be building evergreen assets that are going to sell your coaching, your consulting program, your education business, whatever it is that you're doing. You want to be building sales assets that run while you sleep, that sell people on your program while you're sleeping. All right, lesson number 3, being an outcast is your unfair advantage. Now, for me growing up, I was like the black sheep in my family and really like where I lived. I was one of maybe like 5 black people in the entire town that I grew up in. And so like by nature, I was just different, right? And I always tried to blend in and mask that and like blend in with everybody else because I just wanted to be like everyone else. But what I realized when I started creating a business was that like all of my differences that I was trying to hide and mask and put away so that people didn't know who I was were actually the things that are selling people on me because they make me relatable. They make me stand out in a way that like other people can connect to. And so if you're building a business and you haven't thought about branding, you haven't thought about your positioning, right? There's multiple layers to positioning and branding and all of these aspects. But your positioning is really, really important in terms of like, if you have a unique coaching program, if you have a unique process or a unique mechanism that you're walking your clients through, as well as who you are in the market, right? How are you different from all the other options that people have? And what most people don't think about is like, if I'm a business coach, my competition is not just other business coaches, it's content coaches, it's marketing coaches. It could be literally anything, right? Any other options that a person has, or for them to just not buy anything at all, right? So we need to be thinking about what are all of the options available to our prospects, and then how can we position ourselves in such a way that they see that like, oh, this is the only solution to build what I want. And so there's layers to making yourself different and making yourself show up as the only option for a certain prospect or for a very specific person that you want to be working with, based on not only your unique mechanisms, but the differences of who you are as a human being. Like, what are your values? What are your interests? What are the things that you love and enjoy? What do you value in life? How do you build your business or whatever it is that you're coaching on? Like, what are those unique things that make you you and that also are different than all the other people that you see on the internet? Because those things will become your unfair advantage, and they have been for me in my specific business, because I know that a lot of the people I work with, they love the fact that I'm a digital nomad, and that's something that they value. They value freedom and travel, and that's one of my core values, so they connect me on that level, as well as other levels that where I infuse those things into my content so that people can get to know me a little better. So the key takeaway here is like the things that you're probably trying to hide in your content are things that you like don't want to share with people. That's probably the thing that you should be sharing, because it's going to attract a like-minded tribe of like a cult-like following of people that really fuck with you and they like your stuff and they're down to work with you simply because of who you are, but you're not even giving them an opportunity to see that. So start putting more of yourself in your content. Start thinking about how you can be different than everyone else, because it's a highly competitive space at this point, and think about how you can be different. All right. Lesson number 4 is that I clone myself instead of hiring a team. So we have now moved into the era of AI, right? And I've been building an AI since probably almost 2 years ago, before anybody had really adapted it, just because I have a background in technology. So this is like my playground and I love this shit, but most people don't. And so what people don't understand is that in this day and age, you have to be building leverage because your competitors are. Your competitors are leveraging AI to scale their business, to create their content, to do all of these different things. And if you are still not tapped into AI and how it can be a competitive advantage for you in your specific industry, whatever it is that you do, then I highly recommend you start attuning yourself to like how you can start implementing more AI in your business in the places that are necessary, right? So for me, instead of hiring a team, I built a bunch of AI bots that are trained on my frameworks, my unique intellectual property that no one else can really duplicate. I built certain things for billion-dollar companies that's knowledge that I kept and took and placed into my products and the stuff that I give my clients, right? But that's stuff that's unique to me and I've trained my AI agents on. And I literally just leverage those to help my clients get results in their own businesses. And so maybe that's not the thing that you do in your business, but if you have an education layer and you have an execution layer in your business that you need to help clients with, then I highly recommend figuring out what can you leverage with AI to start doing that work for you and to make your life a hell of a lot easier. So the key takeaway here is don't hire a team because you have a lack of processes and automations and all these other things that you need in your business. Take the time, even if you have to slow down a little bit in business, slow down so that you can speed up and start implementing things that are just going to make your life 1,000 times easier, because that is truly what's going to set you free. All right, lesson number 5 is your real bottleneck is probably not views and likes and followers. It's probably trust. So my business early on, one of the core things that was preventing me from really scaling my business was having a lack of proof, case studies, assets where like I could clearly show that my clients were getting results. And they were, but it just took a really long time because business is business, right? It takes time to grow a business. And so my clients were growing, but they were just growing at a slower pace because they were working a 9-to-5 job, right? And so I wasn't able to put out a bunch of assets that could show the proof and credibility that I already knew that I had. And so what I realized is that it might appear that, okay, nothing is moving, nothing is working, I'm not getting results or whatever, but it's probably because you have a bottleneck that you're not necessarily seeing. Maybe you're not showing proof, testimonials, client case studies, results, either your own personal results or results from your prospects enough to where people actually feel like, okay, this person can actually help me because I've seen what they've been doing with other people. And it sounds obvious, right? But what I've noticed is every single time I put out content that's specifically case study based, it's like my shit just blows up, you know? And it just proves that it proves the point more and more that you have to be creating these sales assets that are going to be selling your program for you. And if you can create some really, really good case studies that show like exactly what someone's struggle was, why they were, what you changed to make the difference and what the end result was at the end of it, by nature, you're just going to sell more. It's going to be so much easier for you to sell because you have so much competition that are also probably just as good as you are, that you have to do these things. And if you don't have those, then all you should be working on is building out those case studies and credibility. All right, so lesson number 6 is that authority is built behind the scenes and then displayed in public. So a lot of my biggest leaps in my business, like the biggest strides that I took, like from, 10K to 20K to 35K, each one of those was like me just in the trenches, in the background, doing like the invisible, boring work that no one cares about and no one ever is going to see but me. But like all of that stuff that I did behind the scenes where I wasn't producing content, where I wasn't showing up in front of everyone else, I was doing the hard work behind the scenes to gain clarity on my branding, my positioning, how I stand out in the market, how I'm getting my clients results, the process I take them through. How can I make my clients' lives easier? How can I make sure that they are getting results no matter what, right? How can I solve every single problem possible for my clients and make sure that my delivery is on point so that when I flood the shit out of my coaching business, I know people are just going to be able to scale and it's going to be effortless because of the time I spent in the trenches, like doing all that hard work that, again, no one's ever going to know. No one's ever going to see it. So the key takeaway here is like build off camera, if you need to step away and slow down and do certain things behind the scenes, don't worry about whether or not you're producing content at the moment. Or like, if you're working on some shit, like, take time to do that. Because I feel like people are so focused on hustle culture and like, you have to post content every single day and all these other things, when it's like, nah, sometimes you really do need to take a step back and gain more clarity on what it is that you're doing, why you're not getting results, being able to study that data and understand what tweaks you need to make in your business. If you need to hire someone for mentorship or help with your business, then do that and take a step back from your business to really start making moves. Because at the end of the day, your business is not going to shift until you gain more clarity, until you start learning from the mistakes that you're making right now. And sometimes that just requires you to take a step back. The seventh lesson is that freedom is built from designing your business around your life, not the other way around. The real goal is simple, right? Define exactly what you want from your life. What type of life do you want to be living? And design your business around that. So for me, that consisted of like no longer taking sales calls, not having a crazy client delivery process, not accepting certain clients because they require too much from me to be able to help them, when I know that my skills and the things that I built are better served for a different audience. I had to make some changes in my business to make sure that I was catering to that audience, right? And it required for me to change certain things about myself, how I showed up, the way that I was producing content, the types of content I was creating. All of that was designed because I decided I want my life to look like this. And so my business needs to be built around the things that I want for my life. I wanted to build a scalable model that gave me the freedom that I wanted, and that created high profit margins for me, because I'm not trying to work that hard to make a lot of money when I know that I don't have to, right? So being more efficient with the time that I have, any decision that I make that might prevent me from having that freedom, it's a no for me. That's a rule. Because I only work 4 days a week. If it's going to require me to work an extra day a week, I'm not going to do it. I'm not trying to scale my business to the moon unnecessarily and like make $1 million in a month. I could, but again, if it's going to restrict my freedom in any form or fashion, then either I need to find a way around it or I don't do it at all. So if freedom is truly what you want from your business, you have to design it in such a way that you're going to naturally have the freedom that you want. But here's the thing, like your constraints around your business might be different. So it's for you to decide and determine what are the things that you want for yourself, for your life, for your business, and figure out how you can build a business that is designed around those things. That's exactly what I help my clients do. I first have them actually assess their lives and understand what is it that you want from your life and what do you want from your business, so that we can provide you the lifestyle that you want to be living. Not everyone wants to travel. Not everyone wants to live the life that I do. But what are the things that are most important to you, and how can we build your business in a way that actually makes that sustainable, right? So the key takeaway is, don't just listen to all these other coaches out here that are like spouting out how you should run your business or whatever, because everything works at the end of the day as long as you understand the core fundamentals of business and how to market yourself, how to produce content, how to do all the things that are going to help you scale your coaching business. Like, if you understand those core fundamentals, any fucking business model is going to work for you. I don't care if it's webinars, VSL funnels, like DM, like they all work. It's just a matter of what you want for yourself and for your life. All right, now I hope this video was helpful for you and maybe it gave you some perspective that you didn't have before. The Outcast Inner Circle is opening up on September 1st next month. So if that's something that you're interested in potentially joining, if you want to grow and scale your business beyond 20K per month, if you're a coach, consultant, expert, shoot me a DM on Instagram with the word coach, and I will send you some information about the Outcast Inner Circle. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.